VoIP, SIP trunk between two Elastix servers. So in this video, we are going to see how we can connect two Elastix servers together, and then we will be able to make a call from server 1 to server 2, or from server A to server B, and vice versa. So let's begin. What is SIP trunk? SIP trunk is a logical connection using internet bandwidth. This is something pure voice or IP. These days, the ITSPs are the Internet and Telephone Service Provider. They provide the SIP trunk over the broadband to the home and businesses. SIP trunks are the VoIP telephone lines from ITSP. These are just same like we are having the PSTN. This is something like phone lines on the VoIP. SIP trunk is also used to connect the two remote PBX together. Now using the SIP trunk, we can connect two remote sites together, and both of them, they can communicate to each other. Both PBXs are Elastix based, then X2 is the preferred trunking protocol. Since X2 is Elastix native protocol and has a certain advantages over a SIP in terms of NAT and bandwidth usage. But if you have another PBX, maybe like a Cisco, Avaya, or any SIP-based PBX, then you can use a SIP trunk to connect your Elastix server to it. Now, before we start, let's see the network diagram for a SIP trunk. This is what we have, the project diagram which we are discussing in this course. Build a phone system in a single day using Elastix. And as you can see, there are two servers which are connected via SIP trunk, and we just name it that one server is located in New York office and another server is located at London office. But it can be anywhere, and both of them are connected via a VPN, which is a network connection. And then what we have, as you can see, there are LAN, our local area network, connected to both of these servers. And on that LAN, we have a PC and IP phones. So on a PC, you can install a soft phones, and then you can register to one server, our server at London. And similarly, on server at New York office, as you can see, we have a LAN, and we do have a soft phone on a smartphones, like you're having a mobile or cell phone. You can install a SIP client, and that can act as your extensions. Similarly, we do have a soft phones and IP phones. What we see more additionals on the New York server is we are also connected to the local PSTN line. I mean to the local exchange telephones. And for that, you have seen in the previous videos that we install the card and we configure the DADI and PST trunks to be able to connect to the PSTN lines and make a local calls on the PSTN. So let's begin configuring the SIP trunk between these two servers. Configuring a VPN, a virtual private network, is beyond the scope of this course. We will not be showing you how to configure a VPN because that is something related to the network side. And here on the telephony and the PBX, we are doing this course on the telephony and PBX. That's why you can study how to build a VPN in any networking course. Probably you can find on the Udemy. You may see several courses are there which teach you how to build a VPN using routers, etc. And definitely I'll recommend you to check that. If you're required to connect two PBXs, connecting through VPN is the much better way and preferred way, because that somehow also give you the security. Other possible way is you can have a public IP on both servers, but I'll recommend you do not use or do not expose your Elastix servers to the public internet, because that add the security concerns. So let's see the SIP trunk. Before you start configuring a SIP, ensure both the servers are reachable by ping command. So just make sure that your VPN is up and running and you can ping both sides, both the servers. Okay. What we have a server A with the IP address, as you can see, 192.168.46.13, and server B IP address 192.168.46.17. Right now for the course I'm having on the same subnet on the same LAN, but if you connect the VPN and you're on the practical way, then it is somehow makes no difference. I mean, if you are able to access, if you are able to ping the remote IP, then you are good enough to go. So we will create a SIP trunk between these two servers so that the extension 100 register on a server A can reach to extension 2001 register to server B through dial. So this is what ultimately we like to achieve. So let's start this. Before we start configuring the SIP trunk on the Elastix servers, let me try to ping both of these servers from a network from the LANs so that we make sure that both are reachable and pingable, and we will also see the statistics of the ping command. So let's see, let me ping the server A. What I'll do, I'll try to send the larger packets because I'm doing the VoIP. So the VoIP has having the larger packets, and I'll send the 10 ping requests to the IP 192.168.46.13. and let's see, as you can see, my bytes are 64 bytes of requests. I'm sending it and I'm getting response. This is what more important, that if you're on the VPN, you should check this carefully. If there is any packet loss or if there is a jitters, delays up and down, that create the problem in the in the VoIP call, because you will be hearing the breaking and crackle in the audio. So in order to ensure the quality of service, you should have a good bandwidth, and you should have there should not be congestions on the network. So similarly, let me also ping the another server which is located on this IP. So let's see how it works. Yeah, definitely you may be thinking that I'm on the same LAN, that's why I'm getting a perfect result. Anyway, it is just to tell you that in a real scenario, in the practical scenario, you should always try to use this hint and try to use and then see how it works, and the result that is more important to you. So once it is done, go to the PBX. So as you can see right now on the PBX, and as we have seen earlier, we configured the 4 extensions, and what I'm trying to do is this 1001 should be dialing to the extensions on the remote PBX, which is this one on this IP. As you can see, this you can see with the different IP, this one, and you can see this one. So the first thing is, what I'll do, I'll go to the trunks, and here I'll click on the SIP trunk. So what I'll do, I'll put the trunk name, because I'm dialing to this server, I'm dialing to the remote server, which is the B. Right now I'm on the B actually, so it shouldn't be, I should be here. Yeah, that is my server A. So I'll click on the trunk, and I click on the add SIP trunk. What I'll do, I'll say server B. Okay. So this is where I'm sending call, and this is the B server where I'm sending calls. So I just put the server B because my calls will be going there. Just below, as you can see, these are the dial pattern which I have shown you in the previous video. More we will control this one and to our outbound routes. So this is something of our interest. I'll put the peer details. Host equal to 192.168.46.17. Make sure this is your remote server, or the server to whom you want to send the calls, or to whom you want to connect the SIP trunk. And then what I will do, type equal to peer, because it's a peer-to-peer or point-to-point connection between two servers. And I'll add one more parameter called qualify equal to yes, just to monitor the SIP trunk. I'll name this server, this SIP trunk, as server B. And that's it. These things we don't need. This is only required whenever you have ITSP connections, and you have the DIDs. So definitely whenever you purchase a SIP trunk, your SIP provider or the ITSPs, they will give you all these settings, the password, and the user is normally the DID, okay, which you purchased. So we'll just remove this right now because in this scenario we don't need it, and this is the only setting which we required. I'll hit submit and then just apply. All right, now on this server, what is next? So after I have my SIP trunk, all these settings, what I will do next is to create the outbound routes. I have one default outbound routes, so let me show you, but you can create the new one if you require. Definitely this is what right now I'm having. So as you can see, I'm just putting, for the simplicity, I'm just putting X dot, okay, which means dial any numbers, anything. But again, I'll repeat, don't do this in the productions because you are giving a full access to your user to dial whatever they want. But since this is just a learning course, just to show you, now what I'll do here, I'll select the trunk and the outbounds and the outbound routes and then submit changes. Nice. What's next? I'll move to the other server, or I'll switch to this server, as you can see now, this one, and I'll do the same thing on this server as well, where I'll connect this one as a server A, because this is what it is going to send the calls to the server A, which is here. And same things I'll do, I'll just remove the default settings and put type. Now this I'll be putting the IP address of the server A, 168.46.13. yes, peer equal to type, sorry, again I'm lost, type equal to peer. I can say qualify equal to yes. Server name should be server A, okay, because it's sending calls to server A. And again, these things as of now we don't need, just remove. And okay, this is just a message saying that you should have the caller ID, outbound caller ID on this, but right now no problem, make things simple. So now similarly I will also go to the outbound routes on server B, and I have the default routes, which is this one. Okay, so I'm just putting X dot, means send any numbers. So, and I'll select the server A trunk, which is I just created, and click submit and then apply. Good to go. One more thing, that for example, when I receive the calls from this server, I receive the call on this server, how I will route them. For example, somebody who is calling from this server to this server, so when the call arrived, I wanted to send it to some extension. How will I do that? I need to do this in the inbound routes. Okay, so I'll click on that. As of now, what I'm doing, I'm making it as a incoming route. So what I'm doing, any call, anything coming on this, you can just send it to the extensions 2001, which is the sale extensions, and then just apply. Similarly on this as well, so just leaving everything as default blank, I'm putting it here the extensions. So any call which is coming from server B will reach to 1001, this one, and hit submit and apply. So now we are ready to test the calls. So let me So I have these two soft phones. Let me show you. This Swiper is having 1001 and it is registered to server A. As you can see, the IP of the server A, 192.168.46.13. Okay, that's fine. Then I have another one, this X, which is 2001, and it is registered to this IP address, 192.168.46.17, which is my server B, the remote server. That's fine, great. So let me make a call 2001, which is on the remote side. We call out. As you can see, the call, it's ringing and coming call from the managing director. So this is something your remote side. So you can pick the call by clicking this. Let me hang up. Well, good enough. So what I'll do from here, now I'll try to, this is the 2001 on the remote side. So I'll try to make a call from this to here. So 1001 and then dial. As you can see, call is incoming in. Okay, and if you want, you can also even answer it and then you can speak. So that is how the SIP trunk is working. Fine.